hearts seated this morning, as usual, up on a block or a bolster if you have one. Tilt your pelvis forward and sit up nice and tall. Stack up your spine all the way towards the sky, reaching the crown of your head as high as you can. And just take an inhale and an exhale. Arriving here together on this June morning, and I know that today there are many emotions. And so I thought today would be fun to be with our intense emotions and soften them through yoga and maybe move them through movement is my intention with this class. So those of you who come regularly know I like to have a theme or an intention. And so I thought just moving them, softening them slightly, and perhaps thinking about them in a slightly different way, seeing if that helps us get to a place that feels more aligned and helps us to move forward in a place that feels more aligned and comfortable to each of us. And so, as always, start by connecting deeply into the earth beneath those sit bones. Notice your ischial spines ground downward onto whatever you're sitting on. Tilt your pelvis forward, and once again, restack, realign. Noticing that when we relax, we often become unaligned. And so can you stack each spine all the way up? Noticing that when you do that, it's easier. And use the breath, taking in a huge inhale through your nose and an exhale through your mouth, letting things go, releasing. And a moment here just to sit, to see if it's possible to show yourself some compassion in this moment. I invite you, if it feels good, to bring a hand to heart and the other hand to top. And just noticing your heart. Perhaps your heart hurts. Perhaps it doesn't. I wanted to share a quote from Amanda Gorman, which is, maybe everything hurts, our hearts shadowed and strange, but only when everything hurts, may everything change. So my invitation today is to use that hurt for change. Change within you, not necessarily needing the hurt to go away, but just as a shift or as a change. Doesn't have to be big, but choose what to do with the hurt. And start by sending yourself compassion. It's much easier said than done to shift the hurt. And so beginning just by accepting it. Of course it hurts. Of course you're angry, sad, whatever you are in this moment in time, a moment in time many of us never expected or thought would happen, and others knew was coming. Whatever that is for you, however it feels to have decisions made on your behalf, just letting the hurt sit, acknowledging it, allowing it. Hurt is part of being human. And perhaps let in this idea that only when everything hurts may everything change. Taking an inhale, just softening that tension in the chest, sending yourself love and compassion, knowing that everyone here also is hurting and is sending you love and compassion, sending it out to everyone in this space together this morning. And a huge long exhale, long and smooth, letting it go. Another huge, deep cleansing inhale. Perhaps directing it into that pocket behind your heart that might feel stuck or empty or hollow, and then exhale, letting it go. And a moment to just allow whatever you feel without stopping it, letting it shift and move and have a life of its own. Knowing that in a moment will move and it can move, but that when it's there, it's just a twangy, icky feeling that does have a life of its own. But that you can still sit here, centered, firm, stable, and safe on the earth. Taking another inhale through your nose. And an exhale right into wherever that feeling has shifted. whether it's rage or anger or disbelief or sadness or stress or worry. It doesn't even have to have a name. You likely just feel it. Press that heel of your hand into the heart space, sending yourself love, compassion, kindness for being human, for having hurts and having anger and rage and whatever it may be, intense feelings and intense emotions. And I was reminded of a passage in a favorite book, which I'm not going to read because it's too long, but it's from the same book I read from often, called An Invitation to Pause Again. And it's where the here and there poem that I read so frequently is from. And the woman who writes that book is the daughter of someone with Alzheimer's. And she has a chapter where she talks about taking her mother to the ER, and her mother is completely confused, and how she has many times gotten to this point of not knowing what to do, being totally overwhelmed by confusion and upset and emotions and not knowing what to do. And she describes how she pauses and takes some breaths, usually goes outside of the ER in that scenario, recognizing the old familiar feeling of not knowing what to do or feeling out of control. And when she pauses and takes the breaths like we're doing here, and I offer, take another inhale through your nose and an exhale through your mouth, that those feelings soften a bit. And she can see the light and the snow globe settles a bit. And what she sees is that what's in her control is how she shows up and how she goes back into the room for herself and for her mom and for the situation. And that perhaps showing up with love in that moment is all she can do. And so I offer the idea of showing up with love for yourself and for others. The last thought to share as we begin is another passage that really spoke to me. And it's from Rhonda Magee, who has joined us in the Mindful Healthcare Collective a few times. She's a law professor, and she wrote, I grieve, I rage, I mourn. And even while brokenhearted, I live, making real the ever-present possibility of an ever more just, actually loving way of being together. And so my invitation today is to feel those emotions and to live and to tap into this ever-present possibility of love and being together in a more just way. So take a huge inhale and an exhale. Another inhale, sending it to all those icky emotions and tense emotions that perhaps you have. Perhaps they've softened, but just notice them wherever they are. And an invitation that will play with them and move them as we move today. Take in another inhale. Huge exhale. And lower your hands to your thighs, open your eyes, and we'll come back together. Taking a moment to arrive into this space here, a very safe space. And as we're exploring intense emotions, some of the poses today might be more intense than usual. And so just notice what feels okay and what doesn't, and opt out when you need, and take a pause and take some breaths when that feels right for you. Engage your belly, connect to your belly button, tilt your pelvis forward. Once again, stack your spine, hands come down by your sides. Inhale and reach your arms up towards the sky, right thumb and middle finger, grab the left wrist, ground your left hip downward, tilt gently to the right. Open up the whole left side body with kindness. Stretch, but don't snap. Breathe into it with kindness, softening. And exhale. If you notice anything that hurts, send this breath there. Noticing the breath eases some of the discomfort. Exhale, tug gently towards the left. Last inhale, towards the right on this side. Gaze over the left shoulder and let it out. Come back to center. Switch the clasp of your hands. Reconnect your sit bones to the earth. Stretch your hands towards the sky. Inhale, lengthen the whole right side body. Exhale to the left Stretch every nook and cranny of that right side. Fill it with breath and love and compassion and kindness for any discomfort. Send the breath to every cell that feels not happy. And exhale, release the tension and the discomfort. Move it, shift it, blow it out on the exhale. Inhale, breathe deeply into every nook and cranny. Exhale, let it go. And on this breath, inhale. And if it feels good, gaze to the right over the right shoulder, let it go. Noticing there may be a little more discomfort there. Reach your arms up towards the sky. Exhale them out towards the side walls. Wrists flex, palms press into the side walls. Pinch your scapula together. Notice the intensity and the discomfort here. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Exhale, release, press the palms into the side wall. Inhale. And exhale as you press those palms into the sidewall. Pinch your scapula once again. Tight, 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 tight. All the tension there. Exhale, manage it, let it go yourself. Wrap your arms around in front, right elbow under left. Bring your palms together. Come into eagle arms. Inhale, lift your elbows to shoulder height. And exhale, pause. Inhale, lift them up an inch. Perhaps some intense sensations in the back of the shoulders and the scapula. Exhale, lower to shoulder height. Inhale, lift up an inch. Exhale, lower one. Inhale, lift up one more inch. Exhale, round forward. Drop your elbows into your belly button, navel, and allow your head and neck to release. And notice all the sensations in the back and the neck. Breathe into them with kindness. Huge inhale to every pocket that might feel tight or need attention or love. And exhale, let it go. Inhale, elbows come back up to shoulder height. Untangle your arms. Press your palms into the side wall once again. With intention, pressing firmly. Squeeze the scapula. Create the intensity yourself. And exhale, release. Wrap your arms in the opposite direction for eagle arms. Left elbow under right. Bring your palms together or your thumbs, whatever works for your body. Inhale, elbows to shoulder height. Exhale, pause. Inhale, lift up an inch. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift up an inch. Exhale, lower. And once again, lift up an inch. Exhale, round forward. Come into the cradle of your arms. Allow your head and neck to release with kindness. Sending yourself some love here. Realizing how well you can care for yourself, no matter what else is happening around you. A huge inhale into every nook and cranny. That is in our control. And an exhale, release. Bring your elbows back up to shoulder height. Untangle them, stretch them wide towards the side walls. Lower your hands. Roll your shoulders back 3 times, just getting out any kinks and tightness, and roll them forward 3 times. Bathing all the cells with love and kindness and connection. And pause for a moment, noticing how you feel in this moment. Perhaps close your eyes, wiggle your fingers, notice the tingles in your fingers. And if you wish, bring your hands to heart center, palms together. Notice the skin to skin sensation. Thumbs come together, thumbs press into the sternum, connecting with your heart space, setting an intention for the rest of this practice, and perhaps how you'd like to move forward after this out into the world. Is there anything offered so far here that might serve you well? Perhaps this idea of showing up living, working together, showing up with love. Perhaps the idea that hurt leads to change. Or something completely different. Perhaps that the breath can soften and that you can choose how to move these intense feelings around. Noticing already perhaps that they've moved and softened just with the breath. Take a huge inhale, cleansing, bathing every cell in your body with kindness and love and being alive. And another exhale, long and smooth and easy. Lower your hands by your sides. If you're sitting on something, take it out. And we will come to sit on our mat. Stretch your legs long in front. Move the flesh of your seat with kindness. Connect your sit bones downward. Flex your ankles, spread your toes wide, wide, wide. Notice the intensity of just that. And relax, let it go. Engage your belly, inhale your arms up towards the sky. Palms face one another, stretch the side body. Inhale, reach tall, tall, tall towards the sky. Exhale, drop your shoulders. Inhale, reach tall, tall, tall. Once again, use your belly to keep you safe. Exhale, fold forward into an easy forward fold that will likely create a lot of sensations in the back body, especially for those of you on the West Coast. Drop your head and neck. If you wish, lower your knees towards the floor. Once again, noticing those tiny energetic shifts. Energy moving, tension moving, intensity moving. Breathe into it. Exhale, let it go. Fold forward a tiny bit more if that feels good to you. Allow your head and neck to release. Lots of potential intensity. Sending it compassion and love. Use the breath to move it. Notice as you breathe and fold forward a smidge more what happens with kindness. Walk your hands back up your shins to your knees, to your thighs. Take your hands behind you, tense them onto the floor, coming into Dandasana or staff pose. Engage your belly, press your fingers downward, shoulders down and back, and puff that chest out. Every muscle in your body engaged. Heels may rise, ankles flex, toes engaged. Huge inhale here. Strong humans. Exhale, relax, and let it go. Let's do that once again. Engage everything. Press your fingers into the floor, shoulders down and back, chest open, filling your heart space with air and strength. Calm and grounded, knowing there's better ahead somewhere, somehow. Let the light in. Exhale, let it go. Sweep your feet around behind you. We'll come into hands and knees for a moment. Back flat, knees hip height, hands directly under your shoulders. Take a moment to take care of yourself well. Spread your fingers wide, equal pie shapes between each finger web. All 10 knuckles pressed downward, thumbs pressed downward, both palms downward, arms engaged, humeral heads in the shoulder sockets, belly firm and flat. You could balance a tray on your back, tops of the feet on the floor. Pause for a moment. Extend your right leg behind you. Even out your hips. Inhale the right leg up about 6 inches and pause. Take an inhale. Exhale, stretch your left hand long in front. Once again, the lines long, stretched, firm, belly engaged, heel pressing into the back wall, fingers reaching far, far, far towards the front. Take an inhale. Exhale, elbow to knee underneath. Inhale, stretch long, long, long. Feeling the intensity of the movement. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, stretch long, long, long. Perhaps sending thoughts, pain, hurt out the fingertips and out the heel. Bring the elbow to knee. Stretching long, letting things go one end to the other. Lower the left hand and the right knee. Even yourself out. Take a moment to adjust your hands, make your wrists happy. Left foot comes behind you, toes rest on the earth. Inhale, raise your leg about 6 inches, just below hip height. Pause. Raise your right arm up. Both fingers reach in one direction, heel reaches in the other. Take an inhale, stretch long, long, long. Exhale, elbow to knee underneath you. Inhale, stretch long, long, long with intention. Sending energy out either way, releasing some of the tension and intensity. Exhale, elbow to knee. Once again, stretch long, long, long in either direction. Heel pressing in one direction, fingers long in the other, belly strong. Noticing how stable you are, even in the intensity of these emotions. Lower your right hand and your left knee. Inhale for cow pose. Crown of the head reaches towards the sky, sit bone reaches up towards the sky. Enjoy the stretch. Exhale, round, drop your head and neck, suck that belly all the way up towards the sky as high as you can. Inhale for cow pose. Exhale for cat. Come back to tabletop. Knees apart, toes together. Come into child's pose. Sink your hips back. Walk your fingers long in front. Stretching long the whole way through the spine. Fingers stretching long. Bring your third eye or your forehead to the earth if it reaches. If it doesn't reach, grab a block or something underneath it so that you can connect that inner wisdom, third eye downward into the earth. And take a moment here, noticing the stability of the earth underneath you. Noticing that in this moment, you're safe. Drop your hips gently farther towards the earth if they'll go, with kindness for wherever they would like to be. Notice your heart hanging light here. Send it some love and compassion and kindness for whatever emotions it's carrying now. And perhaps a moment to notice here, is it your heart that's carrying the emotions? Is it your third eye, your wisdom that's tense and distressed? Where is that pocket of discomfort? Sending the breath there. 3 more breaths. And taking a moment to ask that question, what if the hurt is what's going to lead to the change? Can you welcome it? Is that a possibility? Gently come back up to hands and knees. We're going to walk our elbows forward, forearms forward. Untuck your knees. Come into Sphinx pose. Forearms on the earth, fingers spread wide, elbows directly under your shoulders. Front of the hips press downward, tops of the feet press downward. Inhale, heart shines forward, crown of the head reaches towards the sky. Noticing your back stretch and strengthen in the opposite direction. Exhale, let it go, staying upright in Sphinx. Another inhale, filling every nook and cranny of the heart space here. Exhale, let things go, stress and tension blow away. One more breath. Notice the sit bones, the hip bones pressing into the earth to support you. Exhale, let it go. Press back to child's pose easily to undo the lower back. Knees can be together this time. Reach your hands long in front. A quick, easy back release, being kind to yourself, moving the tension here. Come back to hands and knees. Walk your hands forward a handprint, curl your toes, and lift up to downward dog. Widen your feet slightly, if that would feel good. Do a downward dog that feels good to you. And take a moment here, press into both hands, all 10 fingers press downward, 10 knuckles, both palms, arms engaged. Press into your hands, hips reach way high towards the sky. Lift up high on your tiptoes, high as you can. Press your right heel towards the earth, left knee bends. Lots of intensity in the right leg. Enjoy it. Notice that energy shifting and moving, leading to change. Bend the right knee, press the left heel towards the floor. Energy shifting, moving, changing. Lift up high on your heels and slowly lower both heels towards the floor. Even more intensity. Allow your head and neck to release. Lift those hip bones as high as they can towards the sky. Lots of movement and change in the back of the legs here. Enjoy it. Huge inhale. Into that pocket behind the heart here that might need some support, breath, and love, and let it out. Another huge inhale. And a huge exhale. Walk your hands back towards your feet, about 2 handprints into a short downward dog. Left hand reaches towards the right ankle. Look under the right armpit. Huge stretch in the right leg and the right IT band. Big breath into it. Exhale, blow it out under that right armpit. All the tension and intensity, frustration, anger, whatever it is.
Use the energy shifts in your body to move things around. Just move them. Exhale, let it go. Bring the left hand back. Right hand to left ankle, gaze under the left armpit. Huge inhale into all that tension, energy shifts. Enjoy it. Lots of noise, movement, change. Perhaps some hope. Come back to the short downward dog. Walk your hands towards your feet. Lift up all 10 toes and lower them down. Hands come to opposite elbows. Allow your head and neck to release completely. Lower back releases completely. Knees can be bent, whatever works for you. Notice all the tension shifts in the back of the back body, upper back, lower back, back of the legs. Inhale deeply and exhale. Lower your left palm to the floor between your hands. Spread your fingers wide. Bend the left knee. Twist to the right. Roll the right ankle out. The right wrist, pardon me, in the opposite direction. Switch sides. Right hand lands on the floor. Spread your fingers wide. Right knee bends. Twist to the left. Left wrist reaches towards the sky. Bring both hands towards the floor. Pick your hands up. Bring them to your sacrum. Clasp them together. Press your fists towards the sky. Exhale. Allow your hands to fall towards the front of the mat. Head and neck release completely here. The front of the shoulders might scream out. Send the breath there. Moving the tension, the intensity, the feelings. Can you send some of that frustration, sadness, whatever it might be, anger, rage, into these shoulders and let it go as you fall forward a little bit? Play with shifting those feelings with intention. Bend the left knee, twist to the right. Notice what happens. Bend the right knee, twist to the left. Notice what happens. Lots of noise. Come back to the center. Allow your hands to fall farther towards the front of the mat. Head and neck release completely. Bring your hands back to your sacrum. Run them down the backs of your thighs. Come back to a forward fold. Sink your hips back down and low. We're going to come directly up into chair pose today. Hands come to heart center if that works for you, or you can raise them up alongside your ears into chair pose. Sit your hips back, back, back. Your thighs will be working and intense here. Lift up all 10 toes. Lower them down. Sink your hips back, down and low. Bring your hands to heart center. Twist to the right, left elbow comes towards the right knee, palms pressed together, elbows reach in opposite directions. If you need to stay centered, do that. If you need to stay in a forward fold, do that. Opt out of whatever doesn't work for you. Huge inhale here. And an exhale, breathing out. Even in this moment of just tension and intensity, use the breath to shift. Come back to center. Huge inhale. Exhale, twist to the left, right elbow onto the left thigh, knee gently. Come back to center. Lower your hands to the floor, hips reach towards the sky, knees straighten. Forward fold. Notice the release here. Huge inhale. And exhale. Roll up with kindness, vertebrae by vertebrae. Unroll like pearls on a string, enjoying every vertebrae lining and realigning up. And when you arrive, take a moment to let your human body readjust. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Toes land back on the earth and pause. Huge inhale into the chest space. And an exhale. And just pause. Notice how you feel in this moment. Bring your arms out and up towards the sky. Slight arch back. Full fold forward, forward fold. Inhale for a half lift, spine straight. Stick your butt back out. Back is flat. Exhale, fold forward. Once again, inhale for a half lift.
Exhale, forward fold.
Walk your hands forward to downward dog, shift into plank and pause. Pause for a moment here. Everything engaged, lots of intensity. Notice what's happening to any other feelings here. Where do they go when you're using all your muscles? Can you move them around? Drop your heels to the left, reach your right arm towards the sky, come into side plank. Do whatever works for you. You can bend your left knee here if you need. You can keep both feet up. You can have your feet stacked or aligned, one in front of the other. Back to plank. Drop your heels to the right, left hand reaches towards the sky. A moment here, everything engaged and working. Huge inhale and exhale. Noticing the shifts in energy. The change that comes from the engagement and the intensity and perhaps some hurt and discomfort. Breathe into it and exhale, let it go. Come back to plank in the center. Shift forward onto your tippy toes. Bend your knees, bend your elbows, draw them in towards you. Untuck your back toes, lower down, chaturanga towards the earth. Inhale for a half lift. Heart shines forward. Buttocks engaged, top of the feet gracefully on the floor. Heart shines forward, crown of the head reaches up in low cobra. Exhale, lower down. Curl your toes, press into your hands, come straight back up to downward dog. And take a moment to pause. Huge inhale. And exhale, let it go. Raise your right leg towards the sky in three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, stack the hip. Lots of tension in the front of the right hip and the right glute. Roll your ankle in one direction and the other. Re-square your hips, come into three-legged dog. We're gonna bring our right leg into pigeon. If it doesn't work for you, just stay in downward dog here. Take an inhale. Exhale, bring your right knee between your hands. Right knee comes to the outer right edge of the mat. Right toes come to the left edge. You'll untuck your back foot, inch the knee back a little bit, and rise up into pigeon here. There's a lot of intensity in the right hip for most people. If you feel it in your knee, go back to downward dog. Take a breath or two into the front of the left hip and into the back of the right. And exhale, let it go here. One more huge breath in this upright pigeon. Heart is shining forward despite the twininess here. Exhale, let it go. Place your palms back on the floor, curl the back toes and untangle back to downward dog. Hips reach towards the sky. Even them out. Walk the dog for a moment. Raise the left leg towards the sky. Bend the knee, stack the hips, open the front of the left hip, roll your ankle in one direction. And then the other. Send the breath to every pocket of intensity and tightness. Shifting the energy. The feelings and emotions are just energy in ourselves. We can move them around with the breath, play with them, and choose what we want to do with them. Re-square your hips. Take an inhale. Exhale, bring the left knee between your hands. Left knee comes to the outer left edge of the mat. Left toes to the right side of the mat. Untuck your back foot. Come into pigeon on this side or whatever version of it feels good to you. And if it doesn't feel good to your left knee, don't do it. Inhale. Reach the crown of your head towards the sky. Chest forward, heart light. And exhale, let it go. Inhale once again into every pocket here. That's releasing. Exhale, let it go. Palms come back to the earth. Curl the back toe, untangle to downward dog. Hips reach towards the sky. Even things out once again. Lift up high, high, high on your tiptoes. Lower your heels down. Once again, feel that intensity. Move the intense feelings you have in your body, perhaps from the heart space or that pit in your belly or the lump in your throat. See if you can move it into these other areas of tension. Let it move around, dance around, see what happens. Knowing you're going to move again in a moment. Send the breath to those areas and see what happens. Can some of those feelings move around on themselves with the oxygen? Engage your belly. Raise your right leg towards the sky. Exhale, bring it between your hands. Come into a low lunge or Untitled Asana. Back knee is going to be on the floor. Walk the right toes forward. Give that back knee some kindness with a blanket if you need it. Wiggle your front toes forward so that your knee does not extend beyond your ankle. Tack your right hip back and your left hip forward. Raise both arms up towards the sky. Inhale, reach tall, tall, tall. Exhale, sink into your hips. Lots of tension in the front of the left hip and perhaps in the right thigh. Notice your right knee and make sure your right leg is all aligned and looking elegant and graceful. If it's wonky, try to straighten it out. Inhale, reach your fingers tall, tall, tall. Engage both side bodies. Reach, reach, reach towards the sky. Exhale, sink into it. Lots of tension in that front left hip. Right thumb and middle finger, grab the left wrist. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, tip to the right and inch or two. Notice the tension and where it shifts and where it moves. Send the breath. Exhale. Inhale once again. Exhale, tug towards the right gently. Come back to center. Release your hands. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, lower them to the inside of the right foot. Walk the right foot to the outer edge of the mat. We're going to come into lizard pose. Another intense pose. Both palms open on the floor. Roll onto the outer edge of your right foot. Allow the knee to spread towards the right. Lots of noise in the pelvic area. This one may be intense, especially given yesterday's decision. So send it just love and compassion. Noticing that you can send that breath there and take good care of yourself here. Breathing into it, sending love and compassion there for all women everywhere. And exhale, let it go. Huge inhale of love and compassion and kindness and being alive and living. Even as we work towards change. One more huge breath into that pelvic groin area. Exhale, release. Bring the sole of your right foot back to the floor. Right hand comes to the outside and wiggle it towards the front. Untuck the back toes. Straight the back knee. Hop it forward slightly. We're going to come into a long pyramid here. Back heel is off the ground. Lift up onto the heel. Straighten your feet out. And lower the back heel towards the floor. A very long pyramid, different feelings here. Raise the right toes, lower them down. Lift up the back heel, high, high, high. Lower it down. Left hand comes to the middle of the mat. Twist your right hand towards the sky, coming into revolve triangle here. Breathe into it. Lots of sensations running through the legs. Exhale, let it go. Lower your right hand to the floor. Replace the left hand where it was. Bend the back knee. Step, hop towards the front of the mat. Come into a forward fold. Lower your head and neck. Release everything completely. Engage your belly and roll up inch by inch by inch by inch. Your head will be the last to rise. Unrolling curls on a string. Give yourself a moment for the blood flow to readjust, to be right side up. And just notice how good it feels. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Close your eyes and be for a moment. Be with whatever's happening here and now in this moment. Perhaps noticing more of a sense of safety, centeredness, groundedness. Or maybe not. Whatever you feel, letting it be, letting it run through you, course through you, through the cells. One more inhale here. And an exhale.
And I thought we would do tree pose. With the idea, this came up in a coaching session recently about dealing with challenges by being a tree. And it seems like a tree is a good response to the current challenges in the world. Because trees are strong and stable and grounded and rooted and blow in storms, but usually don't tip over. Lifting all 5 toes on your left foot and lowering them down. Kickstand your right foot. Heel comes to the inner left calf. You can stay here, or you can bring the sole of your foot to the calf and draw your knee back. Bring your hands to heart center and start here in your tree. Noticing how you feel. Noticing the energy coming up through the left foot, through the toes, using your monkey toes to help you stand, all the way through that strong leg, right into your pelvic bowl, and up through your spine, to your heart, to your hands. Notice the crown of your head reach towards the sky, lengthen the side bodies, a strong, stable tree with a strong trunk. And if it feels good to you, reach your hands and branches and fingers up towards the sky, letting the leaves blow in the breeze as your fingers wiggle. Notice what feels good. Notice the strength of this tree, rooted and strong with an internal strength coursing through you, all the way up through your arms, through your fingers, letting the light from the sunlight in, the water through the roots, all of those things running through your body. Lots of beautiful, strong, resilient, buoyant nature. Bring your hands back to heart center. Notice that stability that returns in the trunk of that strong, strong tree running right through you. We can show up as trees for difficult situations, and it's a beautiful vision that can change how we show up. Trees often even turn fires into beautiful things. Lower that right leg to the floor, shake it out, shake your hips out, roll your ankles if you need to, and we'll switch sides. Lift up all 5 toes on the right foot and lower them down. Right leg strong, drawing up the energy through the leg into the hip. Hips are even. Kickstand your left foot. You can leave it on the floor if that works for you, or sole of the foot comes to the calf. No pressure to bring it all the way up unless you feel like it. Draw your knee back towards the back of the mat. Palms together at heart center. Use the thumbs connecting to your heart space for stability. And root your tree. Strengthen its core. Take in an inhale into that strong heart space of that tree. A tree does not get blown over easily in the wind. It's strong and stable, lasts for years, steady, grounded, rooted. If you wish, raise those branches of the trees towards the skies. If it's springtime, summertime, wiggle your leaves, let them play in the sunlight. Still a strong tree. This is a vision of the Rhonda Magee's quote of living, even in that moment. Finding connection, togetherness, love, feeling alive, being that alive tree. The tree is not standing there fighting back. It's graceful and elegant, rooted, strong, kind, and living. Bring your hands back to heart center. Draw your knee towards the front, lower it down, shake it out. Get rid of all the kinks. Allow your shoulders to roll. Take a huge inhale and exhale, letting things go. Be at the top of your mat if you're not. Inhale your arms out and up towards the skies. Like arch back. Fold forward, forward, fold. Inhale for a half lift. Butt sticks out, back is flat. Exhale, fold forward. One more inhale. For a flat back, exhale, fold forward. Step your feet back to plank once again. Pause in plank. Find your strength here. Taking a moment to engage everything with intention. Shift forward onto your tiptoes, bend your knees, lower down, chaturanga towards the earth. Inhale for cobra up dog, whatever feels good to you. Heart shines forward, top of the head reaches towards the sky. Exhale, lower down. Curl your toes, press into your hands, shift your hips up and back into downward dog.
Enjoying the movement and the freedom here. Huge inhale. And a huge exhale, letting things go. Pause and be present with the feelings that they are now. Noticing that with the breath and the movement for the last 45 minutes, things have shifted, hopefully. Use the breath here to bathe yourself with kindness. Noticing all the love in the world. My favorite Charlie Magee book, There's More Love in the World Than Hate. Remembering to spot that. Not that we don't need to make change, but that there is good there when we pause to see it and appreciate it. Perhaps taking a moment to notice what's good, what is safe, to buoy your spirit. Raise your left leg towards the sky, high, high, high. Exhale, bring it between your hands, come into a low lunge, Untitled Asana on this side. Wiggle those left toes forward. So your knee bends, but not beyond the ankle. Back knee is on the earth. Inhale your arms up towards the sky. Inhale, lengthen your side body, reach your fingers tall, palms face together. Exhale, sink into your hips, lots of intensity here. Breathe into it. Inhale, stretch, tall, 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 tall. Exhale, sink into it and enjoy. Inhale, reach tall. Exhale, sink. Right thumb and middle finger grab the left wrist. Stretch tall towards the sky on the inhale. Exhale, tilt towards the right. Notice the tension in the front of the right hip. Breathe into it. Inhale. Exhale, tug gently. One more breath here. If it's okay, make sure your right knee is okay. Make sure your left knee is okay. Facing towards the front of the mat. And inhale and exhale. Come back to center. Untangle your hands. Reach your palms towards the sky. Exhale, sink in once more. Lower your hands to the inside of the left foot, about shoulder height for support. Wiggle the left foot to the outer edge of the mat. Roll onto the outer edge of the left foot and roll your left knee out towards the side, coming into lizard pose. Quite intense in the groin area. Some of you will be able to fold down onto your elbows, or others will wish to stay up. Do what feels good to you, but don't overdo it. Stretch, but don't snap. Push yourself to move the emotions and feel the emotions, taking care to not overdo it, always. Stretching is the growth, and the snapping is when you've done too much. So it's not just a stretch, it's the growing, the evolving, but sometimes we push ourselves too far, so don't do that. Breathe into every nook and cranny of the groin here with kindness. Taking good care of yourself, honoring your humanness. Huge inhale here. Roll onto the sole of your foot, wiggle it towards the middle, replace the left hand on the outside of that left foot. Curl the back toes, press off the back foot, hop it forward about 2 footprints, come into a long pyramid pose here. Left leg is straight, back leg is straight, toes point towards the front of the mat. Lift up onto the back heel, shift your weight into the front foot, lower the heel down. Lift up the left toes, lower them down. Tack the left hip back and the right hip forward. Enjoy all of that. Breathe into the tightness, the intensity. Enjoy it. Huge inhale. And exhale. One more breath. Press up the back foot, hop the back foot forward, bring it alongside the front foot, sink your hips back, come back into chair pose. Hands come to heart center or arms reach long beside your ears, stretch long, hips sink back down. Huge breath in. Exhale, sink your hips down. Bring your hands back to heart center, lower them to the floor, hips reach up. Head drops down. Release everything. Roll up inch by inch by inch by inch by inch. Your head will be the last to rise. Moving gracefully and allowing your human body shifts whenever is needed. Take 2 big breaths here. Come to face the side of your mat and come to the middle of it. Bring your feet out wide. The side of your feet faces the front and back edge of your mat. Come to a wide angle pose. Turn your toes out towards the side, second position. Drop your hips down, sink your pelvis towards the floor. We're going to come into goddess pose because it's needed today. Sink those hips down. Your knees are going to be directly over your toes. Raise your arms up into a cactus shape. Sinking those hips down. Inhale right into the chest, into goddess pose here. Take an inhale right into the pocket behind the heart. Strong goddesses all over. Elbows come back. Exhale, release. Raise your right heel. Goddesses under duress, under stress. Lower it down. Raise your left heel. And lower it down. Raise both heels up towards the sky. Lots of wiggles and wobbles. Still strong under duress. And lower it down. Straighten your knees, straighten your hands. Come into star pose. Lower your hands to your hips. Heel toe your feet together. Come back to the middle of your mat. Shake things out. And we'll come to sit on the mat. Legs stretched long in front. Move slowly here. Move the flesh of your seat out of the way with kindness, however much there is to be moved. Ankles flexed, toes flexed, belly engaged. Legs can be slightly bent or flat, whatever works for you. Raise your arms in line with your legs and roll yourself back with intention and purpose, using the strength of your center and your core, that strong tree, unrolling onto the earth until you arrive. And when you arrive, take a moment to arrive, giving yourself this gift of landing on the earth and enjoying it. Noticing how it holds you. How right here in this moment, you're safe. Let your toes flap towards the outside of the mat, your arms alongside about 6 inches, palms open towards the sky. Huge inhale and exhale. Flip your palms over towards the earth. Bend your knees, walk your heels towards your buttocks, press into your feet. Hips come up high, high, high towards the sky. Shimmy your shoulders underneath you into a very active bridge today. Press your hips as high as you can towards the sky. If you can clasp your hands underneath your butt, do that. If you want to grasp the edge of your mat and tug it towards your heels, do that. Lift your hips up as high as you can, buttocks fully engaged and knees energetically connected here. They don't connect actually, but bring them towards one another. Make sure your toes are reaching far forward so your ankles are in front of your knees. Inhale, lift those hips up high, high, high. Everything waking up, noise, intensity. Intensity of emotion here, intensity of sensation, not a problem. Feeling good, actually. Lift it up high, high, high. It's energizing, activating. Send the breath to the pocket behind your heart. And exhale, untuck the shoulders and lower down. Roll the pearls on the string and roll them, untuck your shoulders. Bring your knees into your chest, giving yourself a nice hug and a rock side to side, massaging your back and taking care. Bring your right knee into your chest and extend your left leg long. Take an inhale, hug it in towards you with kindness. Exhale, allow the hip to fall into the hip socket and let the knee come out towards the side gently. Inhale once again, hug it in tight. Exhale, let it sink into the hip socket and enjoy. Bring your hands behind your thigh, Straighten your heel towards the floor, towards the sky. Flex the toes towards your nose. Stretch the back of the leg. Point the toe towards your nose. Reach, 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 reach. Point it towards the sky. Noticing the nerve lasting and intensity in the whole right leg. The front shin speaks out when you point towards the sky. Flex the toe towards your nose. Lots of sensations in the back of the leg. Point your toe towards the sky. Once more, press the hamstring into the hands. Toes come towards your nose. Lots of sensations. Press the hamstring into your hands. Toes go towards the sky. Enjoy it all in its delicious intensity. Bend the knee. Release your hands and straighten your right leg alongside the left. Notice for a moment the asymmetry and the energy and a little bit of discombobulation here. And that's okay. Some days we feel discombobulated. Bring your left knee into your chest. Wrap your hands on the shin, give it a hug. Exhale, let it fall laterally towards the outside of the mat into the hip socket. Inhale, hug it in tight, tight, tight. Exhale, release it. Bring your hands to the back of the thighs, straight your leg towards the sky. Heel presses towards the sky, hamstring presses into the hands. Flex your toes towards your nose. Ooh, lots of sensations. Point your toes towards the sky. Enjoy the front of the foot and the shin. Toes towards your nose. Press the hamstring into your hand as you do this. Toes towards the sky. Ooh, lots of sensations. Notice the right leg too and make sure the toes are reaching towards the sky. Right leg is engaged. Flex your toes towards your nose. Press the hamstring into your hand. Last time. Point the toes towards the sky. Enjoy the intensity. Release. Bend your knee. Stretch your leg long in front alongside the right. Palms open towards the sky. Take a moment to enjoy the deliciousness in just this moment. Bend your knees once again. Bring your knees together, feet apart onto the sides of the mat. Knees knocked together. Bring your arms up above you in an easy cactus shape. Allow your knees to fall to the right. An easy twist. Open up the left psoas. Press the left knee energetically towards the front right corner of the mat. Breathe into all of that noise, discomfort, whatever you might feel around the left hip, left waist. Inhale tightly. Exhale, gaze to the left. Release the tension. Move it slightly, shift it, nudge it. Inhale into every nook and cranny here. Bathing it with the breath, love, kindness, nourishment, oxygen. Taking good care of yourself, since that is something we can do. So that we can show up as strong, healthy trees. Bring your gaze back to center. Bring your knees back to center. Reorganize your hips if need be, and your arms if need be. Take an inhale. Drop your knees to the left this time. Knees still kind of wide as they fall. Right knee presses towards the front left corner of the mat, and enjoy the pop open in the right front hip. Huge inhale. Exhale, gaze to the right. Enjoy it. Bring your gaze back to center. Bring your knees back to center. Bring your arms down alongside you, palms open towards the sky. Reorganize your hips. And when it feels good, stretch your legs long, one at a time in front of you, coming into Shavasana or final resting pose. Take a moment to arrive well. Untuck your shoulders, any kinks that need to be rearranged, clothing that needs to be arranged to be fully comfortable. A blanket if it's cold, or getting out of the sun if it's too hot. Palms open towards the sky is my offering today. Letting the light in through your palms as you rest. So we'll stay here a few moments, and I want to offer the idea of a respite. Someone brought up to me yesterday, the difference between rest and respite was that rest might be lazy, but a respite was needed. And so this is going to be a few moments of respite to heal our hearts, to bathe ourselves with love and kindness, to let the light in, to allow ourselves to be, to honor whatever is floating through and let it float in and float out, taking exceptional care of ourselves because we can. Taking a huge inhale and a long, smooth exhale. And allow yourself to sink into Shavasana here. Relax your hands. Relax your knees. And allow yourself to be.
Gently begin to deepen your breath. Slowly and compassionately wiggle your toes. And your fingers. If it would feel good, take a huge inhale, stretching your arms long above and your toes long in front. Fill yourself up with healing, nourishing breath, alive breath. Exhale, let it go. Draw your knees into your chest. And roll over to one side and pause. Thank yourself for taking the time to come today. Giving yourself the gift of feeling those intense emotions, being with them, moving them, shifting them, playing with them. And Amanda Gorman's offering, maybe everything hurts our hearts, shadowed and strange, but only when everything hurts, may everything change. Press into your hands and slowly come up to a comfortable seat where we began. Moving kindly and slowly. Reconnect your sit bones into the earth with intention. Tilt your pelvis forward and stack your spine. Bring a hand to heart and the other hand to top. Sending yourself compassion, love, and kindness. Sending compassion, love, and kindness to all women everywhere. In a moment, to allow ourselves to grieve, to rage, and to mourn. And even while brokenhearted, perhaps we can choose to live, making real the ever-present possibility of a better, more just, and actually loving way of being together. Bring your hands to heart center, palms touch, enjoying the delicious sensation of skin to skin. Thumbs press into your sternum. Take an inhale. And an exhale, let it go. Thank you all so much for practicing with me today. May you all be well. May you all be safe. May you all be loved. And may we all work towards an actually loving way of being together. Namaste.